Hi guys, I'm here to make a quick video talking about treasures. So you've probably seen there's some new things on your nation page called treasures, and what they are these little bonuses that you can get for your nation. Now, how do you get them? Basically, the idea is that they randomly spawn a new one every day, and they're going to spawn in medium-sized nations, typically above around 250 score, anywhere to around 700. It's a formula based on half of the highest score nation in the game that determines the range. That's just what it is right now as I'm setting it up. But so there's 30 of these treasures in all, and some of them are restricted by color and continent into how they spawn. 6 of them are based on what continent, 1 for each continent. So, for example, if you want to get the Mona Lisa treasure, if you want to spawn with it, you're going to have to be a European nation is the idea. There's no advantage being in any different continent, I guess, aside from it being a statistics, numbers game kind of thing. Now there's 10 color ones, 1 for each color, same concept there, and then there's 14 additional completely random ones to make up the 30 total, and those 14 random ones can spawn in any nation anywhere, so regardless of color, regardless of continent, you can get one of those 14 random treasures. And those 14 random treasures are broken up into different tiers. There's 3 9% income bonus ones, 5 6% income bonus ones, and 6 3% income bonus ones. And all of the color and continent ones are 5% income bonuses. And those are bonuses to your gross income, not just whatever your net revenue is. So bear that in mind as well. It's a pretty hefty bonus. Now, the reason for having these treasures added to the game is to help with the fact that war just isn't incentivized as well in the higher tiers as it ought to be. So, to keep things interesting, to keep nations that don't participate in war from skyrocketing way above the ones that do, having these treasures randomly spawn in different nations, different alliances, that sort of thing, is going to promote this incentive to attack each other. So, on the surface, it looks like, oh, there's just going to be some more raiding. People are going to fight each other to get these treasures, and that's how they work, is that when you defeat somebody in war through ground battles, you take their treasures, or treasure, however many they have, they now belong to you, and so they're transferable that way. But the idea is that, if there's say a neutral nation that has one of these spawn in his nation, he's now going to have a price on his head, essentially. And I'm not saying, it's not trying to make the point that you can't be neutral, or that, if you're neutral and you have one of these things, you're going to be beaten to a pulp, because that's not the case. Being defeated in a war is not going to utterly destroy you. It could be over in a matter of just 2 days or even less. So, but the idea is that, if you're in a neutral alliance, that sort of thing, and you have one of these and all of a sudden somebody attacks you, does your alliance just let them win and take the trophy, or, treasure, or, are they going to defend you and, essentially, potentially start a war, that sort of idea. So, that's what the basics behind it is. Now, these treasures aren't supposed to be commodities. That's why you can't buy or sell them. The only way that they can be transferred is through wars, or when they respawn after 30 days, and that's 30 days from their last respawn. So, basically, they're set up so there's 30 treasures, they respawn every 30 days, so there's going to be a new one respawning every day. So, for example, when the Holy Grail treasure respawns, after 30 days of it having existed and being transferred to whatever nation, it's going to randomly show up in one of some 500 or however many nations fit within the range, and then it'll have 30 more days before it respawns randomly again. And like I said, every day a new one will be respawning, so that's to keep things fresh, keep things dynamic, and something always going on. So the basics behind the treasures is that, it's going to provide a nice bonus, it's going to help people out. The percentage increases aren't set in stone. There's talk about potentially having an alliance bonus if an alliance can get, X amount of treasures in nations in the alliance. So, maybe if an alliance has 10 nations with a trophy each, or 10 total treasures, not trophies, then maybe they get some sort of additional bonus for the whole alliance, and that would again promote more war, that sort of thing. So, excuse me. that is the basics of the treasure system, and I just wanted to make an announcement. Like I said, nothing's set in stone at this point. It's set up so that the treasures are in the game, they're automatically respawning, and you can transfer them through war, but they are currently providing no bonuses. It indicates that they are because that's just how it's set up, so that eventually, when I flip the switch, it will work. But right now there are no bonuses, so don't get too worked up over it. Things are still in the experimental stage and will continue to be that way for at least some time before we get all the everything smoothed out. So anyway, that's my quick little video talking about treasures. Thanks for watching, and I hope it's been informative.